Hey everybody! Today we're going to go over how to resize images for your website. I know what you're thinking. Boring! Well, properly sized images can make a huge impact on your website's performance, user experience, and search engine rankings. So we're going to go over how to properly resize images without losing quality. Hey everybody, I'm Brad, co-founder and design director here at Liquid Design. We are a web and graphic design agency specializing in creating online experiences that build credibility and clarity for businesses looking to grow. You can check us out at liquiddesign.com. Let's start. So I have two images here on my desktop. They're just a stock image. I have two of the same image, so I duplicated this image. The original, which we're not going to touch, and the optimize, this is the one we're going to be working on. So just to show you the image, you can see that's what it looks like with no editing. If I right click on it, get info, I can see it's 12 megabytes. So this image is way too large to use on the website or on your website. You want it to be, what you would like to see is under 100 kilobytes. Right now this is 12 megabytes, so let's see what we can do here. So we have this optimized image. So this tutorial is going to go over how to resize the images on a Mac. So there's different tools on a Windows computer, so you will have to find, probably want to Google that. If I find an article for Windows and how to do that on a Windows, I will share that in the notes below. But this will be primarily for Mac users using built-in tools that are free. So what we're going to be using is Finder, or I'm sorry, not Finder, but Preview. So if I just double click on any image, it's going to open it up into Preview. And then what we can do is under Tools, go to Adjust Size. Okay, so in here, we can set the width, the height, and the resolution. So this is 5,000 pixels in width or over. So we want to get it down to about 1,200. Rule of thumb, usually on your website, you don't need anything higher than 1,200 in width. And that would be for an image that's going to be spanning the whole width of your site. You can go higher. I wouldn't go any higher than 15. 12 is just a good range. And you can always go smaller. But for this, we're going to do 1,200. So what I'm going to do is put in the width of 1,200. I want to make sure that this lock is connected, which is basically going to keep the aspect ratio. So if I do 1,200, it's going to automatically change the height to 800. So the other thing to look at is the resolution. So any professional photograph is going to be 240 to 300. For the web, we always want 72. So you can see right away it was 12 megabytes and now is going to be 191 kilobytes. So huge difference just with this alone. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And then I'm going to save. And I'm just going to close this. I'm going to open up the original. And then let's open up this optimized. And let's see if we can notice a difference. Okay, so looking at these side by side, you can't tell much difference at all, if any. And we went from 12 megabytes down to 100, almost a little under 200 kilobytes. So that's great. So using this tool alone will save you a lot. So there's this other tool that I like to use. I think you can get it for Windows, but I know definitely for Mac. It's called Image Optim, and I will share a link to where to get this. It's free. And basically what you do is you just drop an image into it and it's going to compress it. So just to double check, let's see our file size is, it's 500 kilobytes. Okay, so that's what we're working with, 500 kilobytes. So I'm going to drop it in here. And it brought it down. So once you drop it in there, it's just going to automatically compress that image and save it right to wherever it was located. So if I open this up, here is my optimized image. If I get the info, I can see now that it's 53 kilobytes. So now we've taken this image from 12 megabytes down to 53 kilobytes. So that's huge. Okay, let's see if we can look at these side by side. So here we go. We have the original and the optimized. 12 megabytes, 53 kilobytes. And I don't see any difference. So this alone will save you huge space on your site. It will make your site load faster, and Google will like your site more. So let's say you have a situation where you've been uploading large files to your website already. So now you have a ton of files on your site that you need to resize. So you could optimize them and resize them and re-upload them and re-add them to your pages. Or there's a plugin that we use that I would recommend, and I'll show you how to set that up. So I just have a WordPress site installed that we'll use as a sample. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my WordPress website. I'm going to go into plugins, and I'm going to go to add new, and we'll just walk through adding this. It's called EWWW Image Optimizer. So I'm going to install, activate. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to, I can see that it's installed. I can go to my settings here, or I can go into settings and go to the image optimizer. Ignore all of this stuff at the top. It's just because it's some sample site we have installed. So in the settings, I'm going to leave this first tab, the basic settings. I'm going to leave just default. I'm going to go to advanced settings, and I'm going to put in, I would probably put in 60 or 70. The higher the number, the better the quality, but less of a file size you'll gain that you'll get. So I would recommend 60 to 70. Let's put it at 60. We'll scroll down. I want to make sure that this is checkmarked. Include media library folders. So that way, when I do this scan, what this plugin is going to do is scan all of the files that have been uploaded to my website and resize them. So I want to scan all of the files that are on my site. If I scroll down here, the media sizes. So basically what I'm telling it here is any image that is higher than 1200 pixels in width or height to resize down to 1200 pixels without losing its proportion. And then we want to have this check marked as well, resize existing images. So that's it for this screen. So I would save those changes. And then in the conversion settings, I just want to go down and enable ping to JPEG conversion. And what that's going to do is any ping that is uploaded in your media library, it's going to change it to a JPEG. And the reason we like this is because JPEGs can compress better than pings. And if the ping doesn't have a background, as long as you don't put anything here, it won't touch it. So you won't have to worry about that. So now that we have these settings saved, what we're going to do is go to our media library and go to bulk optimize. Okay, so what we do here is force re-optimization and go to scan. Oh, you know what? This has already been done on this site. That's why we are seeing this page. So basically what you would see here is a blue button that would say scan images. It's going to scan all the images on your website and compress them down. So this one's already been done, so we won't go through that. If you have a lot of images, it can take some time. If you have a ton, it could take even up to hours. So just know that. So this is a tool that you can use to resize images that are already on your website. There is one other option, and I haven't used it, and there's probably a dozen of these. Basically, they're websites that will resize your photos for you. So you could upload an image here. Let's just do it. I typically don't use these. I actually never have. So here's our original that's 10 or 12 megabytes. Let's choose this. We're going to just try to choose the same settings that we did earlier. And then we're going to click Resize. And it should give us a link to download the image again. So this is going to take a little bit of time. This would be my very last way of resizing images, but apparently it takes a little bit. And there we go. So now I can download this. It seems like it's still pretty big. Save image as. We'll just put it right on the desktop. Here it is. Let's see what it did. Okay, so it brought it down to 1 megabyte. So not great, but better than 12. So anyway, another option. I actually wouldn't really recommend the last option, so I don't know why I showed you. So that is it. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments below. If you have any how-to videos you would like to see, let us know down in the comments, and we will try and get those out for you. Thanks.